Welcome back everyone, it's FNHusa57 here. We are back on Neverwinter on the Xbox One in Mod 9. And today I have basically a walkthrough for you for Castel Never. And I posted my previous walkthrough, or guide. Some people didn't necessarily like it too much due to the fact that I used a PALADIN. And that was after the PALADIN nerf. So the perma bubble does still exist, it's just extremely hard to pull off. So this time I will be doing it with absolutely no PALADIN. We are running 3 DPS, a debuff cleric, and a guardian fighter. So that's pretty much like the go-to combination right now. And unfortunately this dungeon does have a lot of loading screens in it. That's probably the #1 drawback to it, is the number of loading screens that you have. But once you deal with that, it's actually like the most profitable dungeon in the game. So kill those couple enemies on the bridge and come in here. We're going to go ahead and use a potion just to do a little extra damage. And then we've got a few mobs to kill. We're just going to wait 1 second for Groot to show up here. Okay, now that we have our tank here, and that does happen. Sometimes people lag in this dungeon. It's just a little bit buggy, especially here on Xbox. Go ahead and get all these lovely adventurers, undead adventurers, zombies, whatever you want to call them. Kill them. Pretty simple, pretty easy. This is a nuke group. So do keep that in mind, depending upon the people on your friends list or the people that you have queued up with. They might not be as strong. We're pretty much all 3K item level in here, so we all know what we're doing and have pretty good stats set up. Once you kill those guys, you're going to go through this set of doors, and you have rifts. You basically have 5 rifts, 1 for every person. Except if you're running with a tank and a cleric, you're usually not going to have them go into a rift. So 2 of your best DPS are probably going to have to do 2 rifts instead of just a single rift. And again, you have the loading screen that you have to go through. But as you can see, we're already in here. The 5th rift was already cleared because, I don't know, I load in slowly for some unknown reason. It's kind of weird, but some people load in faster and some people load in slower than others. So my rift is clear, and hopefully by the time I load back into the world, we'll have the other rift going. Otherwise I'll walk over to it and go in there. But you just want to get the rifts done as fast as possible. So there you go. We have 1 rift left. Instead of going in there and trying to actually help them out, what you're going to want to do is just wait, because the loading time will literally like kill you, and you will not be useful at that point. So went ahead and also used some squash soup for that buff, because we're trying to do this a little bit quicker. And just go ahead and, if you can pull both groups together, it makes it go so much faster than if you fight these individual groups. Pick up whatever you need. Steal all the ads from Cloud, you know. He loves it when you do that. Just joking. And you have this guy then that you have to fight, giant demon bastard. Since I am actually on my control wizard, I like to try and freeze or control those 2 little like flame people, flame archon things, just to make life easier. And then you're at the first boss. Now this boss is not the most annoying one of the dungeon, but I would say he's definitely worse than the second boss, due to the fact that this guy stuns you literally all the time. Like, every one of his attacks can either stun you or insta-kill you. And he can also tether you right off the bat. which, yeah, that's what happened right there, is we had a tether as soon as we walked in the door. And I'm now tethered. That's that green line between me and Cloud. So, with our tank down, there's no way that I can take that hit. There we go. Now that we don't have that interference, go ahead and use my lantern and melt this guy. And he should be dead now. Done. No drop for me, and I don't need the insignia, so I'll pass on that. Now for one of the little bit harder hallways of the room, which depending upon your team and your tank will determine how many of these groups you can actually pull at one time. We have a pretty good team here, so we can pull about almost to the end. Not quite to the end, but almost to the end safely, since we have a good tank and we have the DPS to actually just go ahead and melt these little adventurers. Unfortunately, he wanted to smack me in the face there. That does happen. He's very unfriendly that way. So, without like a very, very strong bubble, you want to try and stay behind him. There is a chest right there that you can get. I'm gonna pass on that real quick and actually drop a altar, because you want to get rid of that revive sickness if you can. Now we get one of the most annoying parts, due to the fact that these enemies, the servitors of Orcus, can actually do the tether on you, and that tether it hits you just as hard as the tether from the first boss. So keep that in mind. There's also a chest right here that you can open if you so desire. I will definitely take those health potions and silver out of there. And then you have another servitor in this room, and there's also an arcane skill kit if you so wish to grab it. It's mainly for insignias and profession resources. You have 2 chests over here, so we got all good stuff out of that chest. And let's see what we get. Come on, let me interact with the chest. And we'll go ahead and grab everything out of that chest. So, I at least got my accuracy potions that I used in the dungeon back. Last servitor, which they actually already killed before I even got there. Minor sad face on that one. Bonfire to your right if you need to cure your resurrection sickness. And basically what we're doing is going to this rift, which is going to be another loading screen, even though the door or hallway that we have to go to is literally right there. So you have to go through a loading screen in order to get into like the demon realm, I guess you could call it. It's basically this area with a giant green death sphere in it, and there's all of these adventurers, undead adventurers. So what you have to do is you have to kill them. And you have to kill them before they go into the sphere, otherwise they charge up the sphere. And if the sphere, basically that red bar right there on the right hand side of my screen, if that gets fully charged, the sphere will explode, releasing a AoE that hits the entire playable area for whatever 90% of your maximum health is. So if you're not at full health or almost full health, you'll basically die. Also, if you stand in the sphere, you will take continuous dot damage. So standing too close to it is a bad thing. Now, if you can either control these guys or get them to half health, that helps out a lot. But just kill them as fast as you can and then move on. So now we get to go back through our most favorite loading screen again, because loading screens are awesome, and Neverwinter with loading screens is even more awesome. But besides that point, pretty fun dungeon. At least in between the loading screens, you get a chance to go get a drink or something like that. Once you get through the loading screen, we have a long spiral staircase that you have to go up. Personally, I think it's a little bit longer than it needs to be, and then we'll basically be right at the second boss. As you can see, this staircase is just, oh my, crazy. Takes forever. So you want to try and get up here as fast as you can. You'll be going into the second boss. If you need to top off on potions or anything like that, now's the chance to do it. Alright, let's go ahead and wreck this boss pretty quick. Hopefully, at least. Lantern, since I'm on my wizard, I'm going to be doing pretty much all my AoE attacks just to try and handle the adds that this guy spawns. You want to take him down as fast as you can because he'll change the gravity and cause spikes to spawn, and those spikes can almost one-shot you. They also sometimes lag and they give you no warning. So you want to do that if at all possible. Now there is a chest all the way in that corner on the right. I'm skipping it because, well, I really don't need anything in that chest. So now you have to navigate the dark, and the way that you do this is by the first room you stay on the right side and jump on those benches. The second room you stay on the left side and you walk right next to these benches. And now this is the tricky part because you don't want to spawn any zombies. Right around the corner, stick to the right side and jump over those benches. If you do that and your entire team does that, you won't spawn any of those undead adventurers, and you'll come to this point where it says gather your party. Now this is bugged out because of companions and bond, a virtue, knight's valor, a few things like that. So sometimes what you have to do is gather your party several times, and then you'll get that cutscene, which you can skip, and into the dungeon you go. Now, if you're with a Healadin or a very, very good cleric, you can just walk right through these death spheres. If you're not, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful and try and avoid them because they will basically one-shot you. So it's kind of like a puzzle inside the dungeon. Now, I have a immunity dodge as a control wizard, so I'm going to be dodging through both of those death spheres there. And just wait on top of this candlestick. Because, I don't know why, I feel like waiting on top of the candlestick. At this point, you want to wait for your entire team, hopefully. If your entire team is not available, then yeah, you just need to pull and hopefully kill these guys as fast as you possibly can. Be aware that the green ball lags, so you can take massive, massive damage and go down very, very easily here. And then getting people up can be difficult. It's not impossible, but it can be difficult. Once you kill those demons, run past that last death sphere. There's your campfire, so you can cure any res sickness or anything like that. And then, bam, there you go. Now, Cloud needs some heals, so put an altar down just because I have them. And this is where it might take you a second, because anybody who needs to use potions needs to go ahead and use them now before you go into the fight. Go ahead and press B to skip the cutscene. Make sure that you let the tank pull aggro first before you're going in for DPS. Try and make sure that you always have combat advantage on him. And basically, start nuking the hell out of Orcus. If you have a really strong team, you can actually kill him before he flies away. Otherwise, you have to go through cycles of him flying away, and you have to kill undead adventurers. And he can also tether you. Like right now, he's raising his arms, and he's dead. So that's a pre-flight. That is a 16-minute run. Well, yeah, basically 16 minutes if it wasn't for the fact that we had to wait a minute or two for our tank to get there. Now, I can use a greater demonic key on the chest on the right. There's nothing in there that I want. So you have to get to just the perfect angle so you can interact with the chest. On the left, there you go. All I got was a +1 ring, but that was a nice, quick, fast run, way under par time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, make sure that you leave a comment. Otherwise, go ahead and remember to smash the like button and share the video. It greatly helps out with the searchability of videos here on YouTube, as well as subscribing for more content. And special thanks to everybody that was running with me in here. You have Groot, his friend that's a cleric. We also have Cloud. And we have Master Warlock or Mr. Green. So you've seen them in a couple other videos as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.